Good evening, everyone. It's Jeanette Martin, brand ambassador for JD Farms. How is everyone doing this Friday night? I'd like to thank you so much for allowing me to tune in tonight. Last night we had a big family celebration over Zoom. My great nephew, yes, I am old enough to have a great nephew, my oldest niece, oldest son, graduated grade 12 from a very small school in Saskatoon called Asquith, Saskatchewan. And we were able to zoom in from all over the world to watch him graduate. And he was only one of 14 that graduated from this high school. And he had his own little ceremony. So they were doing it 14 times over. So it was quite exciting to be part of it, to catch up with family, and just to have that great blessing of that technology. And that's much like the technology that we're enjoying tonight, of me coming to you live with we're having a ball. We're having a porcupine meatball for this coming weekend. So tonight's recipe is a little bit, when you come home on Friday, or we've been Zooming all week long, and we just need something quick, but kind of gourmet. You got to look in your pantry and see if there's some sneaky ingredients in there that are already kind of prepared, but not prepared food, like a jar of something or a frozen meal or something. You want to get a little, other than the JD Farms frozen meals, because they're fantastic. But those other ones where JD Farms, you can look at the ingredients and know what's in there. This is like what this recipe is. So when you look online for a porcupine meatball, so porcupine meatball always has rice. That's the little quills that's in it. So no porcupines have been harmed to make this recipe. And there's always a ground meat. So I'm using 1 pound of our ground mixed turkey meat. And I want to use the mixed turkey meat because it's got a little bit more of the thigh meat in there and the leg meat in there. So it's going to make a nice juicy meatball. So my sneaky ingredient that came from my pantry is I have a box of Zatarans. It's a jambalaya that has the rice and the spices already in one. And I was gifted this in a gift basket, and I don't like to waste anything. And I look at the ingredients, and it has all great ingredients that I would normally have to call out of my pantry or out of my spice cabinet to make this. So why not make it with this? And this is exactly the amount that I need. So this is an 8-ounce box, so it's 225 grams. So that feels about a cup of dried rice is what I need, and the spices. And also going in the meat is dried cranberries from Cranberries Naturally. These are an orange infused cranberry. Because I'm going to be making a spicy roasted red pepper sauce to go on there, and I mean really spicy, I'm feeling like a little bit of a spicy meatball for dinner tonight, or these are probably going to be for tomorrow. I'm like, I need something sweet mixed in. So we're going to do that. And then for my spicy red sauce, I love getting these big jars from the Italian store. These are a already prepared fire roasted tomato. Because to fire roast your own tomato, unless you're really confident and you take your pepper, you take your red pepper and you kind of heat it over a flame and then you got to peel it off. That's a lot of work. This is a really good value, and they keep for quite a while in my fridge. So we're going to use this roasted red pepper. I'm going to put a little bit of green onion tops. It's all going to go into my my NutriBullet. Going to put some Louisiana hot sauce, or you could use any hot sauce that you want. I just like the flavor profile of this. Going to kick it up even a little bit hotter. This is a hot Hungarian pepper, paprika that I'm going to put in. And I love this tangine. This is a Mexican spice that has chili and salt in it. So my sauce is going to have salt in it. And of course, there's a little bit of salt in here. And then to cook in with these are going to roast or bake in my pan, because this is, if you kind of think of a cabbage roll where you have the raw rice and the raw meat, the raw ground turkey inside the cabbage leaf, it has to cook to kind of plump up the rice. So this is how this recipe is going to be in my little casserole dish. And I'm going to throw in with it, to make a bit of a sauce and to kind of have the vegetables in here. Oh, my aunt is watching. Hi, Aunt Pat from back east. A little bit of red pepper on the bottom and a little bit of sliced onions to rest the meatballs on, and then I'm going to pour my sauce on. So let's get the sauce made so my hands can be the last I touch with the raw meat. You know what? Actually, I'm going to get my veggies prepped for the bottom of my pan. So I've got a half of a red pepper. The camera down just a little bit so they can see there. I'm just going to slice it in long slices, kind of what you would do for a fajita. When these cook down, this meatball recipe is great. You could use these on a meatball sub if you wanted to. You could definitely put them maybe on some spaghetti, but you've already got the rice in there. They're just kind of good to put on your plate and eat them. Green onion is going to go into my sauce, so let me put that in there. Just a little extra that heat that comes from the top of the green onion. I don't like to waste anything. Okay, and the red onion. Going to do the same kind of slice that that I did for the red pepper. If anybody has any questions about any of our products, I'd love to answer them. I can kind of read it at the bottom there if I kind of tilt my glasses. Okay, so let's just do some nice long slices, so that way the onion mirrors what the red pepper. So again, bit like a fajita slice, just going in the bottom of the pan. Okay, that way the meatballs are going to sit on there, so you get nice even cooking underneath. I'm going to show you a little trick that I do. I live here on a farm, and we don't like to throw out anything. And I learned this a long time ago on Rachel Ray. She has something called a garbage bowl that when she's cooking throughout the day or cooking, that she puts all her scraps in and then takes it to the compost. I live on a farm here, and actually the goats are going to have a little salad, and we have chickens and roosters and peacocks and quails. So they're going to get a nice little snack. So nothing goes to waste. Okay, so now let's get to our sauce. So this was about 4 green onion tops. I'm going to take, I need quite a bit. So that's 1 big roasted red pepper. If you didn't want to do the roasted red pepper, you could definitely use tomato, like canned tomatoes. I just happen to like kind of the sweetness to these. So let's do about, let's see, maybe one more small one. Okay, in there. Give a big shake. Lots and lots. There's going to be a lot of meatballs in there. Good shake. So it's probably about a tablespoon of the Louisiana hot sauce, about a teaspoon. If you had your favorite seasoning salt, you could use this. I just like this one. It's got a little tang of some dried lime in here and the salt and the chilies. And let's give a good shake of that hot pepper in there. Okay. Woo! Can already smell it. Now I've got some water. Okay, up to the top. Because we need it pretty liquidy, if liquidy is a word. You could do this in your blender. I just happen to have my NutriBullet. It's nice and easy, screwed on tight. It's gonna get noisy for a sec. And you want to blend it to really smooth. And you want it very liquidy because it's going to plump up. It's going to cook that raw rice. Okay, so we've got our sauce ready to go for baking. And immediately, woo! It's going to be one spicy meatball. Okay, so now the super duper easy meatball mixture for the porcupine meatballs. These porcupines have round quills and not just the long white ones. Let's open up our rice mixture. So you could use this if you had like a rice-a-roni as well. Just look and see if you like the ingredients, and immediately, if you kind of take a look. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit better prepping here. Get my pan in front of me. And I'm going to put just a little bit of olive oil in here as well. That's going to help the spices bloom in the mix. That's also going to help give the meatballs a little bit more juiciness. Before I get going on this, I should have done this beforehand. You don't want to have fancy jewelry on when you're making meatballs. And my rings are flat, so if you had any rings that had little nooks and crannies, take them off. So mixing the meat into that rice mixture. If you had just a cup of white rice, that would be fine. And then you put your own spices into it. A classic porcupine meatball is ground meat, white rice, and spices. There we go, and get that well mixed in, making sure the spices are evenly distributed, and every meatball is going to have a little bit of that cranberry in it. And you can kind of see it's very well mixed in there. So now the size of the meatball is kind of up to you. So you can see in the bottom of the pan, I've got my peppers and my onion. I'm going to say about like, maybe about the size of a golf ball. You kind of just put them in here. About the size of a golf ball. And in they go. Hey, us Canadians out there, we've got over 8,000 viewers or 8,000 followers on our Facebook page. We've got Canada Day coming up next Wednesday. We've got the 4th of July. I'm not sure if you're from anywhere else in the world. Please feel free to say what you're celebrating. If you've got a national holiday coming up. We need to celebrate these days. Anytime and I know in our country, well in BC where I'm from, we're allowed to get out a little bit more. We're allowed to, we're going into phase 3 as they call it. And make up our bubbles. We just want to continue to wash our hands and be calm and be kind. So this recipe looks like it's going to make about 12 meatballs. My aunt is still watching. She probably remembers. My parents had a catering company, and we used to make lots and lots of meatballs and lots of different things for the Legion way back when I was a kid. Okay, yeah, so this is going to make 12, a little bit bigger than a golf ball. Meatballs. You could also use, if you really want consistency, sometimes you can use an ice cream scoop. There we go. You know what? Sometimes the last meatball is either the tiniest meatball or it's the biggest meatball. Okay, there we go. So you see there? Be right back. Gotta wash my hands. I have raw meat on my hands. So see how quick that came together? When you kind of get all of your spices and your rice all in one. Okay. So now what we're going to do with our sauce is pour it over top. Pour it over top. You want to make sure the meatballs are all covered because it needs that liquid to make, woo, just got some a little spicy there, to make sure that the rice gets cooked. So see how they're poking out just a little bit? I'm going to put this in the oven at 350 degrees for, they're probably going to take about 45 to 50 minutes. I'll have to watch it because the meat will dictate. So at about 20 minutes, I'll go in and I'll give these meatballs like a little flip, just to make sure that the rice that's at the top part here is being cooked, because we want that rice to be totally cooked. So when we take a look at this package, it says that this rice cooks in 25 minutes. So just because I have the raw meat in there, I want to really make sure it gets cooked really well. This may take like 35 to 40 minutes, and they're going to swell up, and I might start seeing a little pokey outs of, I don't know if that's a real word, of the rice to turn this into a porcupine meatball. So there you go. There is a quick pantry supper where we took a pound of the ground mix from JD Farms, the ground that has like thigh meat and breast meat into it. Took about 1/3 of a cup of a dried cranberry from Cranberries Naturally. We love their cranberries. They're local from Fort Langley. They have some of our products in their store, and it's a whole cranberry, and they're lightly sweetened, and they're really good. And mix that in with a box of already seasoned rice mixture. Remember, you could use your own white rice and some seasoning. I just wanted to be nice and quick tonight. And then taking some fire roasted tomatoes that are already prepared for you, whatever hot that you want to use. You could not make these hot. I just like the dynamic of the little bit of the, when you hit a cranberry nice and sweet, and then you get a really spicy meatball with that sauce. So I hope you make this recipe. I know it's one of my favorites, making it up, because after I make it, I can freeze it, and then next week I have a meal really quickly because these heat up really nicely in my little toaster oven. So Jeanette Martin, brand ambassador for JD Farms, coming to you live from my own little home kitchen in South Langley, creating recipes that are simple, that bring people together, that uses ingredients in your pantry, nothing foreign, and just get you back into the kitchen cooking. So from my home to your home, God bless. From the JD Farms family of Jack, Jason, Jennifer, and Marilyn, we wish you great health. All the staff at JD Farms and all our farmers wish you great health as well. Be safe, be healthy, be calm, and enjoy this amazing weekend. And let's us Canadians start gearing up for next Wednesday, because we want to get our red, white on for Canada Day. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. Any questions, if you're watching this on the replay and you have any questions about this recipe, about quantities and stuff, just throw it into the comments and I'd be happy to answer. So thank you, everybody. See you next Thursday for another edition of Talkin' Turkey. Bye-bye.